In today's video, we are going to be solving equations by combining like terms. So when we recognize what like terms are in an equation, we're looking for, first of all, looking at the variables, and we're also looking at the exponents. Now, we're not going to take a look at any exponents yet. Eventually, as you move on through maybe this class or into algebra, you're going to see more unique like terms. But when we're looking at equations, we're looking at the letters associated with the terms inside of the equation. So in these two problems, okay, we have an equation, right? And whenever we're solving for a variable, I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign. And then I look on the side and see if there's any like terms. What a like term is considered would be 12x and then negative 5x. And I circle those, 12x and negative 5x, because I can combine them. 12x minus 5x is 7x. And then I take a look here. We have negative 10 and 8. Negative 10, I'm going to box that, and 8, and I get negative 2. So when I combine those, it makes it into a nice two-step equation that we're used to solving, right? So we just add 2 to both sides, and we get 7x is 56. Divide both sides by 7, and we get x is 8. And you can check by plugging this back in to the original equation and evaluating to see if it all checks out. And it will. Okay, so again, like terms are when you have the same variable with the same exponent. Now, the exponent of these is 1. Whenever there's no exponent, it's always an invisible 1. All right, and so you just combine the coefficients. The coefficients are out in front and leave the variable. So 12x minus 5x is 7x. And these are what's called constants. Negative 10 and 8 are called constants. And you combine those also. All right, let's take a look over here. Now, this one has parentheses. So whenever you see parentheses, first thing you do is distribute the number outside the parentheses. So we have to distribute not just the 4, but the negative 4. And that's a common mistake people make. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And look at this. And don't forget to bring down the 5x. And now we've just got one step closer to solving our equation. We have like terms right here. 5x and negative 8x is negative 3x. Bring everything else down. And now, again, we have a two-step equation we can solve. We're going to add 12 to both sides. And we get negative 3x is negative 8. Positive 8. Negative 8. Negative 18. Negative 18. Forgot to say the teen at the end. Divide both sides by negative 3. And you get x's. Don't like that x. Better. Positive 6. All right, negative 8 divided by negative 3 is positive 6. All right, so the only difference with this one is we had to distribute first. We had to multiply the coefficient out in front by the coefficients and constants inside of the parentheses. All right, let's take a look at a couple more. Oh, yeah, you know how to throw in fractions. So again, we have parentheses, so I have to multiply this by the numbers inside, right? Negative 7/5 times x is 15ths. I'm sorry. Negative 7/15 x. I want to multiply it by 60. All right. If you don't know off the top of your head, use your Desmos calculator. Negative 7 divided by 15 times 60. Oops. Negative 7/15 over button. Don't do on the bottom here. Oops. On the bottom, hit it over 60. And you get negative 28. So this is negative 28. And I'm going to bring everything else down. Now notice when I add and subtract fractions, right? We know these are like terms right here. When I add and subtract fractions, you do need a common denominator. So instead of 4/5, you have to see, okay, a common denominator. How does 5 go into 15? 5 goes into 15 3 times. So instead of 4/5, you have to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. And you would get, instead of 4/5, it would be, if you multiply the top and the bottom by 3, you would get 12/15. So now I can combine these. 12/15 x minus 7/15 x is 5/15 x, which reduces to 1/3. Now, for those of you that are not good with fractions, I will show you on the Desmos calculator an easy way to get a simplified 1/3. Okay, so before we had 4/5 x minus 7/15 x. You can do this on the calculator. Let me clear this out. 4/5 minus, what was it again? 7/15, and it will reduce it for you. 4/5 minus 7/15. Well, it's a decimal, right? Ugly decimal. We want to keep it a fraction. You can convert this to a fraction by making it 1/3. And that was our answer all the way down here. So that's a little bit quicker way to do that if you're not good with converting fractions by hand. Okay, so you take the fractions, the numbers out in front. Don't use the x's when putting in the calculator, and do 4/5 minus 7/15, and you get 1/3. And you can go decimal and fraction. All right, so that's an awesome trick to use. All right, the other like terms, 12 and negative 28 is negative 26. No, negative 16. Duh. Equals 30. So bring all this down. Then it becomes a two-step equation. Let me give myself some more room here. All right. Add 16 to both sides. And we get 1/3 x equals 46. To get rid of the fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal, 3/1, which is just 3. You're basically just multiplying 46 times 3. And we get 46 times 3. 246 times 3 is 138. I'll admit that's a little intense of a fraction, but the purpose I wanted to show you is how you can use fractions in that Desmos calculator to help simplify things. All right. So when you have fractions, you're working with operations and fractions. That calculator is super helpful. All right. So let's take a look at this one. All right. This is a perimeter problem. Now, perimeter, whenever you take a perimeter of a shape, you add up all the sides. And it looks like we have a rectangle here. So before even doing these problems, you need to make sure all the sides are labeled. Okay, so we notice these two sides are not labeled, but you know in the rectangle that the top and the bottom are the same. So the top is 6x minus 8. The bottom is going to be 6x minus 8. The left is 2x plus 5, and the right is going to be 2x plus 5. Now I can find the perimeter by adding up all the sides. Okay. And you could do this. Some people like doing this vertically, right? 6x minus 8 plus 6x minus 8, 2x plus 5, and 2x plus 5, and lining up all the like terms, right? That's how you find the perimeter, right? 6x plus 6x plus 2x plus 2x. You add up all those sides, and you get 16x. Then you add up all these. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 6. Equals the perimeter, which is 74. Right? How do I know the perimeter is 74? The word problem tells us. Given the perimeter is 74. So I add up all the sides, add up all these sides. And again, you don't have to do this. You could figure it out. Hey, 6x, 6x, 2x, 2x is 16x. Negative 8, 5, and 5 is negative 6. Then we solve this two-step equation. So we have 16x is 80. Divide both sides by 16. Give myself a little bit more room. And I get x is 80 divided by 16. 5. So usually when we do these problems, we're like, we're done, right? No, we have to find the lengths of each side in the shape. Sometimes they might ask us find the longest side, find the shortest side. So we need to find the longest each side of the shape. But this is just what x is. We don't know what the sides are yet. But we do that by plugging 5 in. What's 2 times 5 plus 5? You can use the calculator. I don't need a calculator, but I'm just saying 2 times 5 plus 5 is 15. So this side is 15. That means that this is 15. That means this is also going to be 15. What's 6 times 5 minus 8? 6 times 5 is 30. Minus 8 is 22. But again, you can do it here. 6 times 5 minus 8 is 22. All right, so when I plug it in here, you get 22. And you could double check 22 plus 22 plus 15 plus 15. Let's do that. 22 plus 22 plus, what was it, 18? 15. 15 plus 15 is 74. That's our perimeter. Look at that. Got so excited, went to the wrong tab. All right, so 22 plus 22 plus 15 plus 15 is 74. So the longest side is 22. The shortest side is 15. So be careful. Sometimes a question might ask, what's the longest side or what's the shortest side? All right. And this is, again, combining like terms. Like terms are when you combine the when terms have the same variable with the same exponent. Okay, so that's it for these problems today. Work through these. Again, it's just adding one additional step to what we've been doing before. We're combining like terms after we if distribute if necessary. Okay, and you really use that calculator if you get stuck with fractions or any other calculations. All right. So that's it for today's video. And just remember, whether you're solving for X or Y, always give math a try.